All right, where do I post this? Yo, 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 yo. All right, I'll start in like a minute. Man, I'm so pissed I missed this. So obvious, so easy to catch. Oh well. It's gonna be important going forward, I think. Man, I'm tired as fuck today. Weekly. All right, let's get started here. So where should I start? Well, obviously we built up 4 days of balance here. Failed to shift back inside. Right, I guess we can start from the whole week. We tried to break down, kind of put in like a triple bottom here, front running April's low, shifted back inside of this area of balance. Expect reversal at that point. Coinbase it swept, but nonetheless came up. Buyers got aggressive at value area high. Took a short here. Chopped around my entry. Ended up closing it. Ran 23 yard of my target. Still upset, but is what it is. Rolled over and died here. Took out that low. Came up and got a retest. Tried to shift back inside of the 4-day composite. Failed to do so. That was your first stab, and then we get a wick above here, completing this auction. And then we start to kind of compress or flag downwards, and it broke down from there and really had no major relief up to that point. Little reaction off of the 8-month high, and we traded inside of it. We saw acceptance given that the entire narrative is bearish at this point. Increasing momentum to the downside, you're going to expect reversal. I closed my shorts at the POC, which had a reaction. So if you lose the POC, the next obvious target is your full reversal down to the low. And we had a massive kind of capitulation wick down at the low, which I didn't bid because I wasn't at my PC, which is upsetting. But it is what it is. So I have a few things in mind right now as it currently sits. There's nothing crazy. Very simply, I guess we'll talk about composite structure here first. So, we saw acceptance, we bounced the low, right? We were back above POC here. It looks like I would say this is more than a deviation of point of control. I think it's extremely likely that we come up and test 70K again. So I guess the time value area high is about 69.3, 69.4, and volume is right about 70 bang on. So really anywhere right here is where I would expect a reaction. Being that we are rotational at this point. So we accepted and we bounced the low. So the next obvious area would be here. And then, you would expect to go here again, being that the condition is rotational, until we see a reason to think otherwise. Smash burgers, man. I know the worst part is I didn't even make smash burgers. Like that was the plan. And I was so busy yesterday, I never even got around to thawing any beef. So I took the beef and tried to thaw it in the sink, and obviously it doesn't work that quickly. Then I tried putting it in the pan and like half-ass thawing it, and then making patties, and it did not work. So then I ended up just making it in a ground beef. Like I don't know, it's stupid. But yeah, I would expect a reaction around here at the high. Obviously, very straightforward. Of course, I mean we're really pushing here. Some say Tyson's human, but beyond those AI. Hey man, I can't deny that. Smash the like button. High relative volume on this candle. So there's a lot of volume in this candle. So I don't see any reason for it to stop. Really obvious kind of order block here, right? Imbalance. I would expect this is where we see a reaction. If we get above this and spend time in space, I would expect to move back up towards here. Probably actually haven't charted that, so I guess we'll go through that. But near term, 70K is what I would expect, and I would try and short down to start to fill out this wick. So really anywhere back towards 60K. Conversely, I'll talk about VWAP quickly. 7-day rolling VWAP is also coming down, so that's a good trend indicator on a shorter term, as well as, if it's confluent, sometimes you'll see inflections from it, but more of a trend indication tool more than anything. We have seen a shift back inside of weekly value here, right? So with that being said, you expect traversal, but mean reversion, more or less, it makes more sense that we would tag the 8-month and then reject, or if we do get above, right, then you would lean on the full traversal of value here, right? So that would be a level given acceptance above here. So that would be an upside target if we do break out. Very similarly, monthly is about the same. So monthly value, we also shifted back inside. So same thing, monthly and weekly VWAP are starting to come down. So it depends if we start to slow down. I guess we'll talk about an ideal scenario here, and I love to try and play these, and it also gives you a better read on if we would be more likely to reject here versus breakout, because you can work with shorter term value and stuff like that that will build out, and I'll explain that. But like I said, weekly and monthly VWAP will both come down here. They'll develop, and we reject that, and that means we mean reverted value here, and I would expect that we probably break down from there, right? And breaking down from that would be a bearish shift, as well as staying rotational in the 8-month composite. So I would expect that we come back towards 60K and maybe fill out this wick, and potentially even lower, which I will touch on in a second. And conversely, monthly, weekly value area high confluent with the 4-day right now, as well as kind of overlap around here. Yeah, so weekly VWAP here I want to touch on. Sorry, yearly. Godfather Mateo, what's up, dog? Right, so I've sent this chart many times now. So obviously we broke down from previous year value and balanced down on what I guess is now quarterly value. Quarterly and yearly are the same periodicity until we start quarter two. Then we have 2024 value. So obviously we saw acceptance back inside. I've been talking about 2024 VWAP for a while now. Of course, we can deviate that. So it's very possible that we kind of cleaned up these lows, and I sent this area I guess yesterday, I think especially I touched on it. So this could just be a deviation of VWAP, and then we could see a bullish momentum here start to form, or we could come back up and retest that 80K level, sorry, 70K level, like I just said, with composite structure, and then that could be your confirmation that we're going to go towards 50K. And then at that point, I wouldn't expect a reaction right at 50. I would probably expect lower, to be honest. But nonetheless, 50 would be the downside target given the current condition against 2024 VWAP. No fib talk today. Court won't have this. Yeah, man, I guess I can't talk about that today. Yeah, so I mean, we have started. It looks like we have shifted back inside of weekly monthly value here. What ideal situation would be for me, I think, going forward, given that we are rotational, I would expect that we probably react here and try and short back down. The ideal scenario would be that, we do actually, have we tapped into this imbalance? We have. So maybe we slow down here. Like we did take this high and sort of stop here. So maybe we stop here, and we're also chopping right around the POC. So being that the point of control as well as 2024 VWAP is going to be a level, right, going forward, especially being around the POC, that's going to be your high volume, most high volume area, or the most fair price inside of fair value, which is your value area. So usually the POC creates chop, right? Because both buyers and sellers are happy to transact at that area. So more or less, I think we could build out value here, which is even more likely given that we're going into the weekend, and we could see volume start to taper off here towards the weekend, right? So what we could start to do is kind of build out value here, right? So you get, maybe we get a 2-day composite here. So maybe Saturday, Sunday, we get this. So we're rotational in a smaller composite, as well as rotational in the 8-month, and expecting that we do come up and tag the 8-month composite high, confluent with monthly, weekly VWAP, like all the stuff I touched on. And, as that starts to slow down, right, weekly and monthly VWAP will develop something like this. If you get kind of a failed break above this composite, right, into the 8-month level, you would take a short, and then, a shift back inside of composite here would also be confluent with the fact that we would see a rotation back to the other side. that would be a really nice scenario. So that's a way, to kind of to use shorter term references like a smaller profile to help you execute on the larger picture, being that, we're rotational inside of the older 8-month value. And then at that point, we would either target, you could target the POC, you could target this kind of inefficient area with the gaps here, you could target this capitulation kind of wick fill. It just depends how it sets up, but I mean, shorting from 70K to target 67 or any kind of anomalies that form throughout the week would make sense. And again, the bigger picture will confirm that we would go down to here, maybe even 2024 value low, which is 50K. I'm going to mark that on my chart here quickly. And then I'll talk about, potential upside targets, which would be a bit harder to execute on. Trying to play a breakout of such a major profile, it's so much more likely you fail like this than trying to just enter per market rhythm at that time. It's just harder to play a breakout of an 8-month profile. But nothing important right now I want to touch on in regards to that. So we have, what is this, 50.65. I'm just going to mark that. 56, good enough. All right, and then conversely, I guess we'll look at composite structure here. If we do break to the upside, I haven't really marked much. We do have poor highs here. So that would be an upside target, being it's an anomaly that hasn't been touched. We also have a naked point of control here. We'll have weekly and monthly value area high kind of overlapping. So like I said, if we do see a breakout here, we have shifted back inside and we do break out of the 8-month, then I would lead more on VWAP value, right? So I would expect traversal. And then, this will weekly and monthly value will start to develop lower. It doesn't have to tick it to the, you don't have to top tick that level. Like we could see a breakout here and then, we deviate that level a little bit and then we tag the POC, which is confluent with this 4-day low. So again, you just look for overlap. That would be my upside. So my upside target would probably remain first target. Again, this might change, but this would be good references going forward. 73 would be good going forward. 73.2, these poor highs, as well as the POC here. So around 76K to the upside. So, I think that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. If you want me to touch on anything else, I can briefly do that. And go on with the rest of Friday, I guess. What else? And we'd also be back above the 7-day rolling VWAP at that point too, so a good short-term trend indicator. Anything else? No. So, yeah, the obvious short is around here, right? This kind of doji hammer candle. I don't even know what you call this, to be honest. I don't know the names of candles like that because it's pretty much useless info. But short anywhere around here to try and target the lows, and long-term bottom target would be here. So just kind of an example how you can use shorter term stuff to confirm that you maybe be breaking down to a larger term reference. So, right. So if we lose the 8-month, right, like I said, that means, we're going to target the next area of balance. Conversely, we are expecting traversal of 2024 value. At that point, then, we're going down to here. And I guess you could also lean on this kind of balance area here, which I haven't even looked at. And value area high is probably around this. Yeah. So you'd get into overlap there, right? So if we traversed, you'd be getting into this kind of level. Maybe sweep this wick into this imbalance, right? So deviate the level, and then maybe we start building up value here and try and shift back inside. Again, I don't know, but nonetheless, it gives you really good targets to work with going forward on a higher time frame. So that's how I would take a read on that personally. And then, of course, we could break to the upside. You don't know, but you don't know. So, but I know what it means when price shifts against value, and I simply play what the chart shows me. So, any questions or any other charts you want me to touch on, I can do so. If not, I'm going to wrap it up. I don't want to make this too long today. Spencer got marked here. What's funny is go to gold. Actually, I had a really good read on gold too. I guess it really just kind of deviated the naked. Actually, didn't even deviate it really. Took a short here, and right as Bitcoin capitulated at value area low, gold tagged the POC, and it just fully reversed my short that I took, which is fine. I still made profits off it. It also remained rotational in Val, and now we're back up at value area high, so makes sense. Besides that, I don't think anything else worth noting. Yeah, you're welcome, man. No problem. Honestly, I haven't even looked at Solana. It's pretty dead. I haven't looked at it even on a larger scale. Let's see, there's probably kind of a naked point of control there, and that's about it. XRP took that October wick out. Wow. XRP looks like shit. Always has, always will. Hype is one thing that's been holding up really well. My chart's super messy, so disregard all of this, but Hype has been pretty much rotational throughout this entire Bitcoin capitulation here. So there's been a lot of rotational stuff to play on Hype, so I'm going to lean back on Hype more a lot next week, I think. NFP in 5. What? I thought NFP was at 8:30 this morning. Just read that in chat. Hold up. I want to make sure I'm not stupid here. Wasn't it? Friday. Wait, what's today? The 6th? Oh, there is no NFP today. Yeah, anybody that's watching this, tell Unique he's an idiot in crypto chat. He's on drugs. There's no NFP in 5. Well, there's no NFP 5 minutes ago. Like I have no idea where he got that from. Whatever. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Ethereum. Yeah, I normally, at least for me, I like to focus on Bitcoin anyways, just because it's the leader of everything pretty much. But I usually base my trades off of one, how the chart sets up and the trade sets up itself, right? Because the majors usually, they obviously have correlation. But more or less, I'll look at Sol BTC, Sol ETH, ETH BTC, and I just kind of base it off of that. So I mean, whichever chart I think looks the best, and that's how I kind of base the strength of my trades. So, all right, I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. Have a good weekend. Yeah, a lot more stuff to come in the near future for the server. A lot of content coming out, and obviously the launch of all of the content, education, and everything we have planned. So I look forward to that, and